Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Yes, I rearranged the studio yesterday. Put it back to the way it used to be at one time. You can only spend so much time getting bored with the same setup. You gotta change stuff around. Anyway, so today's video is about Apple security versus Windows security in their operating systems. Well, let's talk about that, shall we? As you know, with Windows PCs, they're definitely great for gaming. But we're not here to talk about gaming. We're here to talk about actual security, viruses, that sort of stuff. Somebody steals your equipment. What do you do? Okay, so if you have a Macintosh computer, the likelihood of you catching a virus of any kind is pretty much slim to none. It's an extreme rarity, okay? Getting hacked is the same thing. It's an extreme rarity. And Apple keeps adding more and more layers of protection to the operating system to drive us Apple users absolutely mentally insane. Thank you, Apple, for that. Anyways, also crashing a Mac is also very, very difficult to do. I mean, it can be done, but it's difficult, right? And with that and the whole Apple security thing, it is getting extremely nuts. I did a video the other day about, this whole thing with using an external drive as a boot drive and trying to get back into the options settings so I could redo a drive, and it wants to format all my partitions. So I'm like, and it said about all drives too, right? I'm like, no, we can't do this. I need the info on that drive. I just want to get this one done so I can use it as a boot drive. Yeah, that is not going to happen. I decided to try some experimenting, so I unplugged my drive. I tried to start up into the options area to get back into my main drive inside my Mini, and it wouldn't even post a screen. I'm like, what? Like, seriously, Apple, what is your thinking here? I unplugged my external boot drive, and I just want to go and format this other drive and wipe it clean and use it as a dump drive maybe. Well, it's not going to let me do that either. And it's like, seriously? This is like, Sonoma sucks for this. I have not tried this under Ventura, but, I know that I could get away with a lot of stuff on Ventura. I just cannot get away with Sonoma, at least with Sonoma 14.1.1. And it's like, this is just getting ridiculous. Like, I am the authorized user. It is my freaking computer, right? And Apple's kind of like, yeah, well, you're not going to do that, okay? Anyways, so I thought, all right, well, what do we do here? Now, this is a good story. You're going to like this. So anyways, I go and I plug the external drive back in, push and hold, and it posts it'll post now. I actually get a picture finally. Okay, cool. Now I can go into options and now I can choose, right? And yeah, it's the same thing. So it doesn't matter if I went disk copy, tried to format, it's not going to let me do it. If I try to go the other way, it's still not going to let me do it. It says it wants to erase basically both drives. And that's the way I understand the write-up anyways, which, well, we'll get to that. That gets to be more interesting. So I thought, all right, what if we just start the computer as normal with just the internal drive? Because then I could just, do my thing, right? Yeah, I can do that. And I have the option, I can sign back in. But before it'll let me even reformat that drive, I have to sign back in. Because as soon as you use an external drive as a boot drive now, your internal drive gets disabled and encrypted. So the only way to unleash your drive again is to sign back in with your Apple ID, because it gets automatically signed out of and deregistered with Apple for that drive. So now the new external drive is the new registered authorized drive, right? And it's like, okay, we get it. So you unplug your external drive, you boot up as normal, you sign back in, all is wonderful. But I thought, you know what, I want to redo this thing anyways. This is my guinea pig toy. This is my base model Mac Mini. So I really don't even care if I blow the thing up at this point, because that's the whole purpose of getting this thing, is to experiment, see how far we can push things, what's virtual memory going to do with what program, etc., right? So anyway, I sign back in, no problem. I restart the computer, hold down the power button so I can get into options, and it finally lets me do it. But not unless I have the external drive hooked up too. Oh my, are you kidding me? This was such a dumb process. So I thought, all right, I don't care, I'm done. I have backups of everything on that external anyways. Let's see what happens. So I tell it, go ahead, format the drive. Let's just format it out. Okay, now you format it, you go through all the steps. Of course, now you got the cloud lock showing up and you got to unlock your computer so that the computer can now be reactivated with Apple with the now internal drive. But it did not format both drives. So their write-up is a little stupid. So don't worry about it, don't panic. It's not going to format both drives on you. It's only going to format the one you choose. So that was okay. And I reloaded the thing. So once I got it all reloaded and back up to Sonoma 14.1.1, I plugged my external drive back in, which has an OS on it. I thought, okay, well, let's format that thing now. But before I did, I thought, let's check and see how much my software in there is actually accessible. Yeah, they encrypt that crap too. It's like, oh God, what am I gonna do here? So I said, you know what, let's just launch the drive, okay? And we get the same message pop up, and it's like, you know, well, I don't care, just do it. You didn't do it last time. So I was at least able to reformat the drive and reload it with just what I want on it. So it's back to being a dump drive or a data drive, and the internal is back online. This is how nutty and secure Apple is. Never mind trying to even put files into the main part of your drive. So if you went into your drive, for example, and you said, okay, I'm going to open up my hard drive, and I'm going to see, you know, applications, library, system users. Okay, I got a folder here that says camera pics. Can I just dump it here? No, because it gives you a cross. And it's like, what is with this? Okay, can I create a folder in here? Show view options. No, I cannot even create a folder in this main level. So I got to go in my users area. Can I do it here? Oh, yes, I can. Can I copy my pictures folder in? Oh, sure. I just got to give a password and it'll let me do it. So you can't put stuff in your main level. And this has been going on for quite a while now. So this is nothing new, but some of you may have freaked out. But in older operating systems from Apple, we could put whatever we wanted in this area. It made no difference. But Apple tightened up their security so that in the event that you somehow managed to get hacked, nobody's getting your stuff, right? At least not that easily. So they're going to have to really work for it. Now, that's Apple security. That's how tight stuff is. That is, and it's even tighter, but we don't have time to go through all that. Windows, on the other hand, has absolutely freaking nothing for security. You know, I mean, I can go into my C drive. Let me just get into my PC here. I can go into my C drive here. And where are we? This PC, C drive. Now, these are BitLock encrypted drives. Okay, this is how Windows does things. No BitLocker security. But in here, I can create a new folder. I can do whatever I want. It's too easy. I don't have to have a specific area, right? And it's like, okay, and I can do what I want on either drive. It doesn't matter, all right? If I wanted to run another operating system, which is a pain in the butt, by the way, to set up on another drive, you know, so maybe run Windows 11 and Windows 8 or Windows 11, Windows 10, whatever I want to do. That is a pain in the butt to set up, though it can be done. At least on a Mac, it's simple. I mean, it's way too simple, okay? But the security, there is none. There's nothing stopping me from doing anything I want to do in here. I could even rip out a particular file or two, which I'm not going to name because you don't need to crash your system. So, but there are two files, one of which either one gets taken out, which you can easily delete. Then guess what? Your computer never reboots. Oh, how about we go in and we edit that file? We just put a space on any line of code. Just one space. That's all it takes. instant crash, okay? The other problem with Windows computers is they do get virused a lot. They do get hacked a lot. They're way too easy. A freaking 3-year-old can freaking do this kind of damage to a Windows computer. So there's absolutely no security in Windows, okay? Not to mention the simple fact that even with a Windows PC, if it gets stolen, it's gone. Like, I know Microsoft has this Find My PC crap, but that has limited features that it can do. It cannot brick the machine on the thief. You know, with Apple, as long as when you set up your computer with Apple, or maybe even after your setup was done, you activate Find My Mac or whatever, Find My Phone, Find My iPad, whatever, okay? Whatever's in those lists of Apple products, the ecosystem, you have that Find My turned on. If somebody steals your computer, okay, you can go on any computer, okay, or your phone, whatever, okay, you can sign in and you can erase that Mac, okay? You can also track where it is. You can find out where it is, which makes recovery a lot easier. You can recover your computer. So if somebody pawned it at a pawn shop, you could get it back. But nobody's going to pawn it at a pawn shop. Do you know why? Because there's usually a passcode attached. And if there is no passcode, that's fine too. It's not a big deal. Thing is, you got to sign out of your Mac. You cannot sign out of your Mac without putting the password in. Pawn shops will not take Mac systems that have any kind of a password lock on the screen, or if they're not signed out of. And you cannot sign out unless you have that actual ID. And you're not going to get in past the passcode unless you know the passcode. If there is no passcode, that's fine. You still got to sign out of it before they'll even take it in on pawn, okay? So thieves have a much harder time trying to get rid of Macs. And when you locally erase something, it automatically becomes cloud locked, so you can't get back in without that person's password. And good luck guessing it. You only get so many attempts at this, okay? And then that's it. You're done, right? So you don't want to buy any Apple device that is got a cloud lock or has a password lock. If you buy one, it's your stupidity. There's a guy up on Marketplace wants $900 for a MacBook Pro that is cloud locked. And it's like, okay, so that's stolen. You know, because you cannot use the excuse, I forgot the password, because you can change that password. And there are different stages within an Apple computer in which you can get around if you actually did authentically forget your password. There's a little section in there you can get into, and you can just add in your info, and voila, you can unlock your computer yourself. Because Apple will not do anything for anybody without original proof of purchase, okay? Now, they can walk you through on how to get into that other area of the computer if you failed to put the password in to activate that Mac, right? So, but if you don't have all that details of that person's information, you still can't get around the other way either. That's how tight Apple security is. Now, this can work as a good way and a bad way. The bad thing is it does create a lot of e-waste, but on the other side of the fence, it does prevent people who steal computers to be able to resell your computer, make money off your computer, as long as you're smart enough to activate Find My Mac, okay? And it can't be disabled unless you disable it. Again, your password authentication is required for your Apple ID. And if they don't have it, they can't do it. So I think on one side of the fence, that is probably the smartest thing Apple ever did, but also the most frustrating because it does leave a problem with too much e-waste. Now, getting back to PC security and how crap that is, even with their little Find My thing, it doesn't matter because you can just reformat the drive and reinstall Windows. You don't even need a password, okay? Or if you really wanted to just, you know, make an upgrade to it to get more money out of that piece of stolen equipment, you could just install a brand spanking new drive, download Windows, install it. You could even sign in with your own Hotmail account and your own password and do it all you, and then reset the thing as factory new, go ahead and sell it. That's how crap security there is in a Windows computer. It's too easy. And this is why, you know, even though there's a lot of computer theft on both sides, right? It's the fact there is no actual real security in a Windows computer. Okay, so it's kind of like user beware, buyer beware, because you could be buying stolen property and not even know it. Now, the one drawback to Apple and their whole security crap from hell is the simple fact that Apple does not get involved with stolen equipment. They have no way of finding out if that thing's stolen. There's a kid in North Bay. Somebody lifted his knapsack with his MacBook in it, and he's offering a reward, obviously, and you know he knows the serial number because it's his computer. He can go log into his Apple account at any time, and he can see. Now, he did locally erase the drive so nobody can get at his stuff no matter what, so it is a brick. But at the same time, he's saying, oh, well, police report's been made and blah, 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 and here's all this info. If somebody sees this or comes across it, you know, I'm offering a $300 reward. I'll guarantee you right now he's never seen that computer again, right? Only because the thieves aren't going to be able to part with it. You can't even sell the thing for parts, okay? I mean, honestly, there's not that much parts because Apple's serial number indexes all their parts now, and that requires special software and a pile of other BS just to install a replacement part. Other than a screen can be done, but a lot of the certain other parts cannot be swapped without the program to do it, to resync the new thing. Apple has this stupid little sensor cable, just a little tiny cable, that if you change it, you still got to reprogram the damn thing to accept that cable, or it's not going to function, right? It is that strict with Apple. So that could help a lot of people understand why Apple computers tend to be expensive, but at the same time, they're the most secure computer on the freaking planet. But I think some of the security is just a little bit overkill. You know, especially when it came into trying to just redo my drives here. That was just absolutely just not acceptable to go through that hell as the owner of the computer. I shouldn't have had to go through that just to redo the drive. That's just dumb, right? But this is the stuff we learn and we share with you fine folk so that when you run into any of this sort of thing, you actually know what's going on. So don't be buying any cloud-locked or password-locked Apple devices of any sort because you'll never get it unlocked by Apple. Apple refuses to help, okay, unless you can prove you're the original owner. And the other last little bit on how tight Apple security is with this crap, if you buy a computer from a dead person, okay, so the family estate sale, selling grandpa or grandma's computer, or maybe it was a younger person that died, they're selling the computer, but it's got a password lock on it, or it's been cloud locked somehow, because they tried to reset it for sale. They don't have the password. Yeah, kind of screwed, right? Definitely. So you need a copy of the death certificate from the family to prove to Apple who that computer belonged to, among other information they're going to require from you to prove that this is a legit thing, okay? If you can't prove that, they're not unlocking it, okay? So you've got that form, and then, of course, you have original proof of purchase that you would require to get that thing unlocked. That's it. So don't forget your passwords. Write them down somewhere. I keep an iPad that is not even on the internet, and it has all my passwords to everything in it so that none of that is even on my computer. Because in the event that somehow somebody did hack my Mac, they're not getting my passwords that I have. And I rotate my passwords quite often too for everything, okay, which is another good practice to do, is rotating those passwords, which helps ensure even more security on your side. Because you know the world we live in nowadays, right? So you got to keep things secure as you can. Anyways, I hope this video helped a lot of you out, and let me know in the comments below what you thought. And you know what? We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.